Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever, where today we're going to be looking at a Selkie Isles 5v5. And before we get into introducing our players, I need to tell you, this is a long one, so strap in and enjoy yourself if you didn't look at the time code before you clicked on the video. Either way, we're going to go ahead and say like and subscribe, get our attention whoring out of the way before we start introducing our players, of course, with Team 1 at the top and Team 2 at the bottom and about 36,000 reclaim. We're going to be looking at our first player for Team 1. He's a purple Seraphim going first land, and his name is Isma98. Moving on to his first ally, we have a Cyan UEF going first land. It's, of course, Thurnis Haley coming back to the game. He didn't really play all that many matches. Him and Geneva Convention kind of took a little bit of a break, but he's back and we're happy to see him. Moving on to the Central Island with the orange UEF by the name of Derp going first land. Gonna be rocking those chunky units that the UEF have. Then we can move on to the Commander-in-Chief, to our strategic friend. We all know him. He's been in a few casts recently. His name is Lieutenant General Fluffy. He's gone red, and he is, of course, making the only right decision, which is playing Aeon. And he's gone first land. Moving to the last player, he is the Titan King. He's a gray UEF. And he will show you the power of the UEF any day of the week. His name is Icy Nightmare. And that's all for Team 1. Let's go ahead and slow down the game a tiny bit as we introduce Team 2. We're going to start over here on the eastern side with the brown UEF. He is the most depressed 1800 in FAF. His name is Grimplex. And he's gone first land. Moving on to his first ally, we have a red Cybran, a winner, or not a winner, a finalist of the Darkest Heart tourney. So was Grimplex, actually. But he is, of course, explosive with the EDC clan. Moving to the Central Island, we have a blue Seraphim going first land by the name of I Am Dennis. And then we have a green player. He's green, he's UEF, quite a few UEF in this match. He's gone first land, and his name is Obli, or Oblil, something like that. Then last but not least for the entire game, a lot of introductions coming forward, but this is the last one, a purple Aeon, making the right choice. Actually, it's pink Aeon, it's hot pink Aeon, going first land. His name is Banana Smoothie. And we've introduced all of the players, and we can go ahead and see where the action's going to take place first as I check my audio settings, because it seems like the game's nope, everything's right. We have Isma98 under the sea. He's very far down there, and he's making his way over to the islands controlled by his opponent. Going to be going for those frigate wrecks on the shore. Going to be able to pick those up in a timely manner. We don't see anybody else trying to move their comm to the other side of the map, so that's the only real interesting thing going on. We have a scout out from Grimplex flying over Icy Nightmare's base with this beautiful setup of pigeons. We have 6, 7, 8 pigeons around the comm of our friend Icy Nightmare. And he's getting into the Navy now with a T1 engineer. We also have T1 engineers heading out to get a reclaim for Grimplex, and I'm assuming he's going to get into the water relatively soon. We have a T1 bomber out from Obli. Let's go ahead and track that and see if he can get any significant damage done onto Derp, because that does seem to be his main target. As we speed up the game back to normal speed, I was like, why is everything so slow for a second there, and then realized I had slowed down it for those introductions. Speaking of the game, it's a 94% balanced game with some pretty high rated players. We have one side with two 1800s and a 1700, and the other side rocking a 1600, 1800, 1200, and 1400. So these players all understanding the game relatively well. As this bomber comes in, is it going to manage a kill? I'm not entirely sure. It does look like a wreck did blow up there, so that is going to be the first kill of the match coming from this T1 bomber out from Obli. and we're gonna see him drop bombs onto another engineer that's building power generators in the main base of Derp. May even go for the second bomb down onto the power generators, try and deal some damage to the power. An archer coming out from Derp's production facilities there as the bomber moves forward towards the land of Thurnis Haleyism, and might get a juicy drop onto 6 engineers. If he gets this, this will be absolutely devastating. 6 engineers dropping their payload. Oh, how many are gonna live? 2 engineers out of the 6. No, 1 engineer out of the 6 lives, and that's going to be a very quick 2 veterancy for this Scorcher bomber, and he's going to drop onto more engineers, get 4 more engineer kills, 5 engineer kills, up to 12 kills. This bomber is an absolute hero as he flies through the skies and lets everybody know who is the boss. Man, he's going to pick up even more kills, up to 13 kills and 692 mass killed. That is a heavily efficient bomber out from Mobley, but I think we've been focused in on this one unit for a little bit too long. We do know he's a hero, and he's going to continue to harass our friend Thurnis Haley, but we have more important things to look at. We have other bombers going out around the map. We have multiple bombers now coming out from Explosive towards Icy Nightmare, seemingly killing off the engineer that was going to build a bunch of naval factories. Icy Nightmare asking if his team's got air, almost as if he's asking if you got milk. Grimplex and Explosive focusing heavily on shutting down Icy Nightmare with his early bomber play. We've seen this a few times in high-rated play where these players of very high rating go for a bomber rush to take out the competition as fast as possible. The double bomber rush onto Icy Nightmare is going to be setting him back quite a little bit, but he did overbuild power, so I think he's going to be okay as far as power generation goes, but he's going to have a trouble getting into the Navy quite as easily, and he's having trouble expanding as mass extractors do go down. Lieutenant General Fluffy starting to produce a bunch of T1 bombers, or T1 interceptors, as bombers wreck his base as well. He's already up to T2 air, so that factory is going to produce interceptors very quickly as long as it has the mass and power. Needs to shut down this early bomber aggression out from Grimplex and Explosive. And speaking of which, Obley also had that bomber which set back Thurnis Haley. The early air game really helping out Team 1, or Team 2 against Team 1. Team 1, Isma is over here on the beachhead. He needs to get his comm involved in this as the bombers continue to harass Icy Nightmare. He's getting up some static anti-air point defense, and it looks like he'll be able to stabilize, but this is going to set him back quite a little bit. Frigates now coming out from the base. We have a submarine out from Icy Nightmare over here harassing the frigates that have been built by Grimplex. Grimplex starting to move his comm towards the island along with Explosive. Explosive and Grimplex putting the pain on to Icy Nightmare. Going to be trying to get a lot of damage done to him. He's the highest rated player on Team 1, and he's going to be facing quite the onslaught of pain very soon. Banana Smoothie starting to push Isma off of his island, telling Isma, get off my lawn. I don't like your kind here, you dirty seraphim. You gave me my religion, now go away. Damage and range now on the way for Derp. That's going to be the first upgrade of the game as he throws it onto his comm. Gonna slowly upgrade it. He has some mobile artillery pieces over here in the middle, starting to take down these T1 civilian point defense and try and get into this reclaim field, which has about 6,000 reclaim. Very significant to get in on that early. Frigates now out from Thurnis Haley, who seems to be the heaviest focus, the most heavily focused on naval production as of the moment. Already having 5 factories, all but one producing, and that one that's not producing is going T2. He's going to be getting a really big head start onto the naval game, but is he stalling? If you stall too much, this gets very difficult. He's balancing his economy well enough to support all of this, so it's going to be very good. Over here on the eastern side, Grimplex and Explosive bringing their comms onto the mainland of Team 1. And that's gonna be an issue for Icy Nightmare, who really just needs to come up with a way to deal with this. He has multiple air factories now. I'd like to see possibly some gunship harass coming out from Lieutenant General Fluffy if he believes he can maintain air control for a little bit. He has swift winds out on the field. They, of course, do die to interceptors, but very slowly compared to normal interceptors. Swift wind does go down right there, as the interceptors from Grimplex doing quite a good job. More swift winds showing up every second, and now we have Thurnus Haley showing up with his own interceptors. The team really rallying behind Icy Nightmare and trying to help him out in this air game. We have T2 air finished up for Obley, who's now starting to torpedo bomb the frigates out from Thurnus Haley that have managed to kill off one of the factories, of specifically Banana Smoothie's factory. And Banana Smoothie has pushed off the likes of Isma. He's pushed the Seraphim kind back into the sea, and he is going to continue to put on the aggression. I would assume he has all of these hover units. May as well just send them across the seas to cause trouble for Isma. Even though he was focused heavily, Icy Nightmare getting into the Navy and doing decently well in the Navy. On the western side, Thurnus Haley tried to put on some early aggression onto Banana Smoothie and Obley, but Obley getting up those torpedo bombers is a real problem for Thurnus Haley. He's going to have to fall back. He's going to lose these frigates, and he's sending frigates over to the eastern side, so the western side going to be a little bit bare as far as naval units go. Obley is going to continue to produce his own navy. He has two submarines and 3 frigates already out onto the field. Looks like Thurnus Haley is redirecting some of his forces to go to the west and leaving some for Icy Nightmare to use in defense. Grimplex and Explosive over here in the east weren't quite able to set up a beachhead, and it looks like they've decided to fall back to get out of range. Don't really want to get sniped this early on, believing that they can very possibly win the naval game. This was a effort to shut down Icy Nightmare before he even got started, but Icy Nightmare weathering the storm quite well. He is probably a little bit down in mass generation, and speaking of mass, let's look at the reclaim numbers. 32,000 for Team 1 and only 29,000 for Team 2, so not a huge difference, but a difference nonetheless. Overall mass generation, Icy Nightmare bringing up the rear of the pack with 29 mass a second, and Explosive and Grimplex both at or above, or Grimplex is nearing 70 mass a second, Explosive well above it now. And now Grimplex is caught up with Explosive, so a lot of the eco investment has come out from these 2 players in the bottom right-hand corner. Icy Nightmare currently going to be fighting with the units of Explosive and Grimplex, and it looks like he's going to be losing due to some bombers and the fact that he doesn't have submarines, and there's a pretty heavy submarine presence out from Grimplex and Explosive over here. We even have some T2 torpedo bombers coming in from Explosive. The air really just causing problems for Icy Nightmare and his entire team. In the central area, we haven't really looked at it. I Am Dennis is really getting taken to Pound Town by the units of Derp. Derp having that gun upgrade really helped him out. He didn't really get matched by the looks of it by Dennis. Dennis just been building factories, but he did take a lot of damage under the comm from other units or possibly the air, so he is going to be falling back with that comm as he continues to push forward. He's ecoing pretty well on his base, and he's going to be able to get himself up into the 50 to 60 mass a second range and really try and beat beat Dennis over the head with his economic advantage, because I'm pretty sure he has one over Dennis right now, who is currently at 25 mass a second. That's never a good sign. Over here on the western side, Thurnus Haley still being forced to fall back. He's invested more than anybody else almost into Navy so far, and it's really just not quite working out for him. These torpedo bombers coming out, causing issues for Icy Nightmare. Thurnus Haley still has some naval units over here, but they are going to slowly die to the attritional warfare of having less shit and getting countered by more shit. Dennis is very unhappy from the looks of it. He's speaking angry Russian as Lieutenant General Fluffy asks if Derp can get into the Navy, which he very possibly could. He could start going for naval units and possibly help out Icy Nightmare. The difference in choices out of these players, everybody except for Dennis has managed to get into the Navy for Team 2. On Team 1, it's really Thurnus Haley with a tiny bit out from Isma and a tiny bit out from Icy Nightmare. Thurnus is the only one really going heavy into the Navy. We have Lieutenant General Fluffy completely opting out of building Navy, but he is at T3 Air, and he's going to be at T3 Air before anybody else by a large margin. So he's going to be able to get up ASF. He may even be able to get up a strategic bomber if he is savvy. No, that is a T3 Air factory. I would like to see him try and go for a strategic bomber. I think that if he scouts properly, he can see that he's the only one at T3 Air, and he can really abuse that. We have a bunch of units out from Obly over here on the western side, starting to make their way forward. We have some light Zooey spam now coming out from Isma, trying to be as annoying as possible. And over on the eastern side, Grimplex and Explosive getting quite the advantage in the naval game, really outnumbering Icy Nightmare. It could be very dangerous. We finally see Lieutenant General Fluffy try and get into the naval game, maybe even see him rush to T2 as fast as possible, as a naval engagement breaks out over here on the west side between Thurnus Haley and Obly and a few odd units from other players. But it looks like Obly's just going to be forced back. He just has less units here, and he's going to lose. There's also a destroyer out from Isma, making this even more complicated. And as the pathfinding for these frigates out from Obly fails him, he's going to end up having all of this be a total loss. And this is going to leave a reclaim field right here that I think that Team 1 could really abuse. And we got T2 onto the comm of Isma. He wasn't quite able to get too much done with it. These point defense having big disagreements with the cliff, or with the mild incline of a hill. And over on the eastern side, it looks like Grimplex is about to be forcing out Icy Nightmare from the naval game. Icy Nightmare with some Tiger Sharks trying to push this back. There's not really any torpedo launching units around here other than torpedo bombers, so if those do get cleaned up, or wait, these torpedo bombers are out from Lieutenant General Fluffy, so it looks like Icy Nightmare may hold, but he's going to lose a factory or two if Grimplex really wants to. Grimplex can make him bleed right here and really hit him in the production as these frigates come in and just start blowing shit up. Oh, man. And over in the middle, Dennis now forced back to his first factory, and that's all he really has. He's up to T2 on that factory. He's building T2 PD. This is maybe the right call. He's going to build a shield. I would think you'd want some more T1 PD before building that shield. There's a lot of units out from Derp. Derp still not opting to get into the Navy until just now, where he's sending some T2 engineers to build naval factories. And we have T2 Navy finished up for Explosive, a Salem-class destroyer coming out to try and deal some damage to Icy Nightmare's production. Icy Nightmare gifting his factories over to Lieutenant General Fluffy. Maybe he believes Lieutenant General Fluffy has a better economy for this. And if that is the case, it might be the right call. But these factories are somewhat forfeit, as T2 Navy has been achieved by Lieutenant General Fluffy. You have T2 Navy, sure, but you're sitting on the brink of death. He does have Vespers into the water to try and help out in destroying the frigate spam that's over here. But this T2 Naval HQ could be going down any moment. With all of these frigates firing on it, I think you could... no, maybe not. Not with the torpedo bombers. He has managed to get to T3 Air first. He didn't go for a strat bomber. He's going for ASF. I think a strat bomber would be a very good call right now. But we have the hindsight's 2020 buff. We have the ability to just kind of look at it and be, oh yeah, they don't have T3 Air. You could just really abuse them right here. They may not know that. They don't have a great idea of that while in the game. In fact, I don't even know how well... yeah, the scouting for Team 1 has been lackluster, to say the least. Massive Zooey spam, and Thurnus Haley over on the western flank getting large swaths of naval territory underneath his belt, as he's starting to push down onto the position of Banana Smoothie and Obly, and both of them have their T2 HQs right next to each other, and Governor-class cruisers just throwing their missiles into these factories is going to mean they're going to go down in a relatively short manner of time. First, it's going to be Banana Smoothie's T2 HQ that goes down, but right after that, I would imagine these governors are going to be redirected onto the HQ of Obly. The HQ for Banana Smoothie going down. And the HQ for Obly, probably not long to follow. Thurnus Haley playing quite the game Navy-wise. He's managed to produce possibly the most naval units so far. I would think he has, as he's the only person who's been consistently building out of 5 naval factories this entire game. And I was wrong. Well, there is a Governor-class cruiser, but it looks as though the Seraphim cruiser out from Isma is doing most of the focusing on shooting things down. And the T2 HQ for Obly does go down, and that's going to be an issue. Needs to upgrade one of these more rear guard naval factories to T2 immediately. Needs to get back up to the T2 phase of the game. Can't rely on torpedo bombers forever, especially with the Air Force over here from Derp going to be able to shoot these down very quickly. And the fact that you have cruisers, you need 5 torpedo bombers to kill a cruiser. That cruiser did just go down, but he was heavily damaged. You need 5 to kill a cruiser, and if you don't have 5, you're going to be in trouble. We have a lot of torpedo bombers coming over here to the middle island out from Lieutenant General Fluffy, and they're going to be able to put some pressure over onto this western side, where Explosive has kind of abandoned Grimplex and decided, hey, we need to deal with this versus the more present issue. Icy Nightmare over on the eastern side has managed to get up a small T2 Navy, but all of the naval factories for Lieutenant General Fluffy and Icy Nightmare have died. So Icy Nightmare, he's not even looking like he wants to get back into the Navy. He's just going to leave it to Thurnus Haley and Lieutenant General Fluffy as he comes over here with Tactical Missile Launcher on the comm. He's just launched his first missile. Is this going to be a effective shot? There is Tactical Missile Defense over here. There is a buzzkill, so that may stop it for now. Overall, on upgrades, we have T2 and Tactical Missile done for Icy Nightmare. Derp on T2, starting to get T3, in fact, and may have just finished T3. I might be wrong on that. Yep, he's finished T3. That first Tactical Missile not quite able to kill off anything of significance, but now going to be heading for this island with 3 mass extractors for Grimplex, and I think we'll check back in a second, because there's still a massive naval battle going on between units of varying varieties and varying factions. Everybody is over here on this western flank fighting it out with naval units. It does seem that Team 1 is continuing to advance and continuing to gain advantage over Obly, Banana Smoothie, and Explosive. Explosive's Navy sitting a bit further back. In fact, I don't even see Explosive's Navy. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. This is Explosive's Navy. He's been gifted some UEF cruisers, or UEF frigates. He is, of course, a Cybran. I wonder where he got those frigates from. Maybe from Grimplex, as Grimplex is very small, has a very relatively small navy at the moment. And it just seems like Thurnus Haley and Isma are an unstoppable force over here. Between the Zooey spam and tech spam of Isma and the just massive outnumbering in both T2 and T1 naval units for Thurnus Haley, it just seems as though this is going to be a slow and painful death of your infrastructure and production for Obly. Obly might be forced out of the Navy. On the eastern side, the Navy is going much better for Team 2, but Team 2 as a whole kind of getting confined into their bases and getting hemmed in, not really able to get very far from where they spawned. And Thurnus Haley doing quite the number to these naval factories. The T2 Naval HQ is going to go down again. Another T2 Naval HQ going down for Obly. Building that first one so far forward, he's probably kicking himself over that as these naval factories go down. And Thurnus Haley just kind of takes over half of the map with the help of Isma. Isma also doing quite well with the Zooey spam. Going to be able to even harass some of these mass extractors on the mainland that the naval units can't quite get shots into. And this is forcing everybody to build tactical missile defense on the western side for Team 2. And Team 1 just really in a strong position right now as I Am Dennis is slowly starting to build up a artillery spam over here. And this tactical missile launcher on Icy Nightmare has managed to get him to 4 vet. He killed off all of these mass extractors over here. He's slowly picking off various mass extractors around. He killed off the buzzkill, and he's going to kill off all of the mass extractors over here. He's getting so much value out of these tactical missile launchers. And, oh, it requires 2 shots, or one of the shots missed, and that's going to be the death of a T3 mass extractor for Grimplex. Grimplex really upset with his tactical missile launcher upgrade on Icy Nightmare's comm, which has gotten him to 5 ranks of veterancy in such a short time. Tactical missile, so powerful because it gives the vet to the commander and really helps you out in the long haul. Over here on the southern side of the map, Thurnis, Haley, and Isma, it looks as though they've run out of units to spam over here. Maybe they just haven't caught up yet, but if this force dies, it's going to give Explosive the chance to push back up on this western side, western channel, and really just push back Thurnis, Haley, and Isma. Needs to probably fall back right now. They're outnumbered. This isn't a good fight to take. Let the Zooies tank up all of the damage for now and get your higher tech units back. Start building up some bulwark shield boats if you're Thurnis Haley, so that way these very damaged units can still live and be useful for a longer time. Apparently somebody has a slow computer at the moment. But as we cross the 21-minute mark, still nobody on either team dead. And I Am Dennis is having struggles still to this day, stuck on those 4 mass extractors in 1 factory. And he's getting out. He's losing the artillery war. We have clink hammers now built up by Derp. And I Am Dennis is losing the artillery war. And there's also some Janus firebombers out from Derp. Oh, Dennis saying, "Fuck you, Orange." And Dennis is very upset. I think he's done. He's probably going to control K soon, or just walk his comm into the enemy. Those are the two choices. Come mid, Z. Come mid. Let's go 1 versus 1 command. He's trying to get a commander 1v1. He would lose that because Derp has T3 and gun. But you know, is what it is. Dennis now walking forward, getting shot at by these triads built on top of this cliff, which is such a dirty spot for them. Just watch them fire. And Icy Nightmare still just racking up kills with this tactical missile launcher from the look of it, and causing issues for Grimplex. And Grimplex, he's been doing pretty well. He still has a very strong economy, but he needs to address the tactical missile launcher on the comm, and he probably just needs to start winning Navy on the eastern side, because his team is really losing the Navy on the western side. Explosive is starting to push it back, but Obley needs to get back into the Navy, and that's what he's going to be trying to do right now. But until he's back in the Navy, and until Banana Smoothie can kind of get a grips on his entire base kind of being sieged right now, it's gonna be a little bit. It looks like there's gonna need to be a big comeback from Team 2, which you may not expect, as a 1700 and 2 1800s versus just one player who's above 1700 on Team 1. It just kind of seems like this game, despite being a well-balanced game, would be slightly favored over to the players on Team 2. Generally, you favor the team that has the more higher rated players mixed with a bunch of lower rated players. I know they have an 800 and a 1000, but they take up more than half the slots on their team. The difference between a 1400 and an 1800 is quite big. I Am Dennis does finally get defeated. He was just walking his comm through. He got surprisingly far, admittedly, before having to succumb to the defenses of Derp, and his base is gone. I believe this is not full share. Yep, it is share and Del Death. So any losses, this was probably the best loss. If you had to choose somebody for Team 2 to die, Dennis would be the option all of them would pick. He's on the middle island. He's kind of secluded anyways, and he's the lowest rated player for Team 2. So that does help out a little bit. Explosive with this mass Salem, mass Siren strategy, really pushing back Thurnis Haley and Isma 98. But behind all of this, Isma 98 and Thurnis Haley have had the chance to eco up. Let's go ahead and look at Reclaim again. Team 1 still massively ahead on Reclaim, despite the fact that, I mean, I guess they've just had engineers on this western side constantly coming and cleaning up the fights, but now there's a massive Reclaim field, and you can already see that Explosive is going nom nom. He's gonna be eating up that mass and shoving he's gonna eat the mass and shove the mass shit down the throat of Team 1? I don't know. I did not... ignore me. Let's look at the economies, shall we? Explosive leading the pack at 219 mass a second, 216 for Derp. On the western side, we still have some fighting going on. On the eastern side, less so. Seems Governor-class cruisers have been built up by Grimplex, but they're going to get shot down, or they're going to be destroyed by torpedo bombers, so not going to be sieging for too long. But 219 for Explosive, Derp at 217. Derp really ecoing hard here in this middle position. Grimplex at 207, Lieutenant General Fluffy at 190. Icy Nightmare at 174, 150 for Thurnis Haley, Obley at 145, 142 for Banana Smoothie, and Isma at 125. And overall, that equates to about a 100 mass a second lead for Team 1. So this is an interesting choice out from Derp. He's going with Titans and transports instead of going with Percivals and just walk the fuckers into their base. I prefer the Percival walk. Whoa, wait, is his comm? Where is he sending his comm? He's sending his comm way back here for some reason. Derp trying to avoid a snipe, I guess. Interesting choice, but okay. Derp going to evac his comm to the back lines. Maybe he's worried about losing the central island due to the naval presence out from Explosive now. On the eastern side, Grimplex trying to brute force his way through the navies of both Banana Smoothie and Icy Nightmare. Icy Nightmare, this is the navy he's had forever. He hasn't been gifted any navy. He's just continually kept these, like, about 12 units at the time alive. But it does seem that he may lose some frigates and some submarines and possibly his destroyer. And this fight going decently well for Grimplex, but I don't think he's going to outright win it. Maybe with more reinforcements showing up, he wins it. The Salem's, or not the Salem, the Exodus class destroyers trade very well with the Valiants, and the Vespers underneath the water. You really need to come up with a solution for these Vespers soon, because you need torpedo boats or you need torpedo bombers to clean up these Vespers. Otherwise, they're just going to continuously cause you issue. And more torpedo bombers coming in to kill off various units out from Grimplex. And Icy Nightmare and Banana Smoothie doing quite well on this eastern side, starting to push Grimplex back to his main base. He's got a pretty strong economy despite having all of these mass extractors get blown up. And Icy Nightmare has made a pretty good comeback with his economy as well. And holy shit. Grimplex has decided that he likes clink hammers, and he's going to use them. Man. Those clink hammers, though. Very, very beautiful. Man, maybe I should be a UEF caster. Maybe I should just follow in the footsteps of Guile. Because, like, I don't know, UEF looks really cool with a lot of their units. Also, a pause. What the hell? My game just had, like, a seizure when that pause happened. Sorry about that, if that looks weird. Icy Nightmare needing 20 seconds. And, they're going to be going. We haven't really had much salt coming out. Other than, there's been some banter, but no real salt. In the middle, we still have these 3 clink hammers, which are probably firing into the naval units and getting a lot of veterancy off that. We have T3 Navy. Finally, somebody's building some form of T3 Navy, and it is, of course, both Thurnis, Haley, and Explosive doing it, and both of them finishing up their first T3 unit around the same time. Of course, Thurnis, Haley going to be opting for those battle cruisers, very nice, into T2 navies and into T2 units in general. Whereas our Red Cybran going to be going for those Galaxy-class battleships, putting the pain downrange. Bulwark shield boats trying to make up for the fact that there is not really any anti-torpedo going on here. The Vespers have slowly been killed off, which is a good sign for Grimplex and Explosive. And Grimplex and Explosive going to be able to start pushing on this eastern side. There's really not much left here to defend, other than Icy Nightmare's interesting strategy of fire basing. 1800s, I say they generally don't fire base, but I guess Icy Nightmare has decided that Clinkhammer good, Navy bad, and you know what? You gotta kind of respect it. Building up a bunch of shields, building up fucking stealth field generators. Are stealth field generators underutilized? Because, like, I don't know how useful the stealth field generator is being right now, but I guess the units don't really get hurt, but the structures can still very well be fired at. New structures, I guess, is what the benefit is for with the scatter shield here. And on the western side, seems that Thurnis has managed to push back Explosive a little bit. Explosive was formerly way up here in this choke point. But Explosive, Obly, and Banana Smoothie all back into the Navy. Explosive never really being forced out, but Obly and Banana Smoothie getting back into the Navy. And over on this western side, there's just a persistent war between these naval units out from mainly Explosive, but some from Obly and some from Banana Smoothie, but mainly Explosive and Thurnis Haley duking it out on this western side. We have these battle cruisers now showing up to the field. Many units firing into each other. As I get a cinematic shot of the entire map. Let's go ahead and check on the western side while we're in this cinematic camera. Seems like Grimplex is continuing to push forward with all of his naval units. And I'll stop being an idiot with free cam. I just noticed that in some of my recent casts, people are like, no more of that free cam bullshit. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I know you wanted some more, didn't you? So, you know, gotta make sure everybody's unhappy whenever I do things. And just constant naval battles. Seems that Grimplex and Explosive have managed to get decent inroads over here, and they're going to be able to possibly stop the production of T3 naval units out from our friend here, Derp. As the Titan King continues to turtle over here. I can't believe his turtle is doing this well, though. Like, he has all of these shields, and I think at least one of them is upgrading to T3, but all of these shields, and he's having trouble with them, it looks like. He's not power stalling, it's just there's a lot of damage flowing in from Salem's and Galaxy-class battleships. Very technically, you can kill battleships with T2 artillery if they are in range, but there's also the battle of Bulwark shields versus T2 shields, and T2 shields have 9,000 HP, Bulwark shields have 8,000 HP and can move. And also can get much closer to each other, so they can kind of overlap their shields a little bit better, but all of the bulwarks go down temporarily. And some of these shots are going to get in underneath the shield, but not really going to have any real consequence there. And it does seem that Explosive was pushed back from the production area of Derp, as the battle cruiser comes out. It already picked up 4 kills and 600 mass killed. Battle cruisers on the west side for Thurnis Haley. And do we have anything special going on in any of these bases? I'm not seeing like nukes or experimentals or anything. Just kind of a game where everybody's kind of just focused on producing large numbers of units. Titans were dropped over here from Derp and are really making headway into the defenses of Obley and Banana Smoothie, and gonna start making Banana Smoothie take some attritional damage by simply not having what was needed to stop this drop from happening, really. A Strat Bomber out from Explosive. As far as the air goes, seems Lieutenant General Fluffy has a strong command of the air in this match. And Thurnis Haley just, man, he's made a lot of boats. Thurnis Haley has made a lot of boats. Compared to everybody else, the only other person who's even remotely close on building boats is Explosive. But I feel like Thurnis may have made more boats than even Explosive has so far, because Thurnis has been actively fighting on both the Eastern and Western Front, and for a while was winning the Western Front by himself, almost. We have Yathsaus now coming out onto the field for Isma. Isma has been contributing to the Navy, but this Eastern side, both Icy and Banana Smoothie, or not Banana, Icy and fucking Lieutenant General Fluffy, who I keep wanting to call Banana Smoothie for some reason. But both of these players, they have built Navy, but they haven't really built Navy, if you know what I mean. They have some naval units, they've built a decent number of them, but nothing compared to Grimplex, Explosive, or Thurnis Haley. But now, Thurnis showing up on the eastern flank with a summit to try and help out Icy Nightmare, who's going to be sieged relatively soon. Icy Nightmare with even more Clink Hammers, because if he's going to get shut down in the Navy, may as well just kill the Navy anyways, right? And wow, that's a lot of shields. That is one flower of shields if I've ever seen one. Are these even being effective? No, they really just kind of aren't. These Clink Hammers really just aren't getting the value that's probably needed to warrant their existence. Not like even one of them really has. The only unit that's gotten major value for Icy Nightmare is his commander. Every other unit, other than maybe torpedo bombers, has been kind of lackluster for him. The Titan King needs to take a page out of Derp's book and just start dropping Titans everywhere. Speaking of Derp, he's getting pretty invested into the Navy now, building a bunch of Riptides, building battle cruisers and bulwark shield boats and Summit-class battleships, getting involved in the naval combat. On the western side, there is just a hodgepodge of colors. And they're all for the same team, but a hodgepodge of colors. Tempest now on the way and going to be finishing relatively soon. That might be our first experimental finishing up this game out from Banana Smoothie. And on a Navy map such as this, you kind of do expect a Tempest if there are Aeon players in an economic position to do so. Anti-nuke finished up for our for Explosive, and Nuke launcher finished up for Derp. So Explosive, I don't know if he can see the nuke, but he definitely knows it. Yep, they all know it exists. So if people need to start getting anti-nukes, there's not one built yet for Grimplex. And on the western side, we have an anti-nuke built up for Obley. I don't think Banana Smoothie can really afford one with the fact that he's building a Tempest right now. So there's a couple of targets that Derp could attack with that nuke launcher. He's already killed off one of the opposing players, so I guess he's just going for the pentakill, if he were so inclined to believe it. He could technically get it still. He's the only player left who can get a pentakill that's on Team 1. Ah, man. Icy Nightmare still just building up the firebase of doom. It feels like he's just building this firebase to protect one mass extractor. And that's... I mean, I know a mass extractor technically gives you infinite value, especially a T3 one, but like... at what cost is something you have to ask yourself at certain points. This is taking a lot of effort to build. But who am I to question 1800? I'm Willow, and I'll question them all day. There's only 4 people good at the game, and it's the top 4 ladder players. I don't know who they are. I just know that those are the only 4 good players. There's Galaxy-class battleships duking it out with Summits. I don't know which one wins in a 1v1. I would imagine it's relatively close. Banana Smoothie has built a Tempest. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, see if it achieves anything of massive value. And how far is that nuke launcher coming? It's coming along pretty good. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe we can even get a cinematic shot of the nuke itself. Derp has built an experimental unit. What experimental unit is that? He's built an Atlantis. So we're getting the Navy experimentals out of the way right quick and forward. And we have Rambo comms out from Obley, coming over here and killing off the fire base that was built up by Derp. Why are you moving it away from the... I disagree with the movement there. You should have just moved it towards the point defense that was dying either way. But it does seem like these Rambo comms will eventually be able to clear up this base. And it definitely seems as though we're gonna see Obley take over the base of or take over this middle island possibly. He's gonna be putting a lot of pressure. The more of these Rambo comms he sends out, the more likely it is he takes over this this central island. But Derp is already pieced out from the central island and is doing quite well for himself. What the hell happened here? Why is there a bunch of shots on the ground? Was that like Janus fire? I don't know. That's strange. In the central area, we have ourselves Galaxy-class battleships and these Neptune battle cruisers duking it out. Battleships generally winning against battle cruisers. Summit in the background coming to lend its aid. Ras is completed for Icy Nightmare, and he's too drunk to care. Whenever Derp asked, do you think I can't see that? I'm guessing there was a ping. And Derp got upset with it, and Icy Nightmare said he's too drunk to care, which, you know what? Everybody, go tell Icy he needs to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. How dare he drink and play FAF? That's conduct unbecoming of a 1800 rated player. Love you, Icy. I know you're watching this, so. Over here, or at least listening to it, Atlantis starting to push forward for Derp towards the mixed hodgepodge army, or I guess navy, of Grimplex. He's been gifted a bunch of units from Explosive. On this western side, it's still a hodgepodge of units. Explosive being gifted the Tempest. So Explosive going to be able to micro that. Possibly better than Banana would be able to. Banana building another Tempest. Is that nuke launcher nearing completion? No, it's only it's not even halfway yet. So it's going to take its sweet time. We're down to -1 sim speed, so that you know my computer is having a wonderful time. And in the Navy, I have noticed something. The players have really stopped with the frigate spam. They still are spamming frigates, but nobody is taking it to like the sentence extreme of building like 28 land T1 naval factories and having them produce nothing but frigates. And I think that could be very useful if anybody here can afford it. And I think Explosive might be the most likely player to afford it, or maybe even Obley. But just having that mass of frigates in front of your high-tech units is extremely useful. And Icy Nightmare taking a significant amount of damage, I'm guessing from battleships. Another experimental is finished up somewhere. I don't know where. Another Atlantis, apparently from Derp. As we cross the 40-minute mark with only one player dying, and the mass generation for both teams over 1,000. Team 1 leading by about 300 mass a second, but Team 2 really starting to have headway, and the more of the base that Derp dies, the more of this economic advantage goes away, and the more that's built up over here by Obley. The Rambo comms still just making their way out and throwing shots into Titans. It seems that they have an AoE attack now. 1 second. I haven't really built Rambo comms very often. but they have an upgrade, heavy plasma refractor, area of effect on the shots out from these Rambo comms, which means these grouped up T2 units are not going to be long for the world, especially if we start firing in right here. All of these Riptides going to start dying, but the comms having trouble actually shooting things, and this is going to be a big issue. On the western side, it seems Thurnis, Haley, and Isma having a lot of trouble combating this combined arms navy of multiple players. Our friends Obly and Explosive working quite hard to make inroads here. Of course, gifted some units, especially this Tempest by Banana Smoothie. Banana Smoothie has a couple destroyers, so don't even count him as not participating. But on the eastern side, it seems that Grimplex is really getting the short end of the stick. It's this map. It's kind of just based on where you're gonna win wherever your central players go. And Explosive has kind of abandoned Grimplex for like the second or third time now, and is pushing out on this western side, which might be the right call because Grimplex can theoretically hold on his own. Have any of these done anything significant? None of these are over one vet. They've been sitting here firing probably non-stop for like almost 10 minutes, and they have done nothing. Which is surprising. Icy Nightmare still quite well on for himself on the economy side of things. Obly, with building support comms, I think is starting to get up to insane levels of economy. He's currently sitting at almost, if not more than 400 mess a second, depending on reclaim. He's really going at it economically. He's the strongest economic player right now. As far as reclaim goes, Team 2 finally ahead on reclaim by a large margin. They were behind for a long time, but Obly and Grimplex reclaiming a metric shit ton of mass. And Thurnis, Haley, and Derp also doing quite well. Explosive alright. Icy Nightmare relatively low on the list, surprisingly. He usually does quite well on reclaim, but I guess he's also kind of just been sitting in his base and saying, "Get off my lawn!" to Grimplex for most of the game. And Experimental has built another Atlantis. He has one, two... Wait, was that another Atlantis or was that a Fat Boy? Nope, another Atlantis. He has 3 Atlantis on the field, and it seems there's no end to the amount he's going to build. Over on the western side, we have a bunch of torpedo bombers coming in from Lieutenant General Fluffy. Not really getting too much done. A ton of cruisers in the area, but the more torpedo bombers he throws out, the better it'll be. He has the largest air force by far, I believe. There's a ton of torpedo bombers out from Obly as well, causing issues. And holy crap. Look at this beauty. Everywhere you look, there's units shooting at each other. Atlantis starting to push in towards Grimplex. Grimplex having trouble keeping up with Banana Smoothie and Derp. Or not Banana Smoothie, this is Lieutenant General Fluffy. Banana Smoothie, why do you make me think you're freaking... Why do I want to say your name so badly? This is Lieutenant General Fluffy's units. Icy Nightmare has decided to finally build an experimental unit. I doubt it's a naval one, though. Unless he was just gifted one. And he's getting tactical nuke on the comm. What experimental did he build? He built a Novax. Icy Nightmare is just going full troll right now. He got rid of all of his artillery back here. That may come back to bite him since he's been relying on it so heavily on the front. But he has the tactical nuke completed. We have the nuke launcher for the Stone Ager over here very close to completing. Does it have an order already? I don't know if we can see the order, but still no anti-nuke built up over here as far as I can tell from Grimplex. But everybody else seemingly doing well on the anti-nuke front. We have a nuke launcher out from Banana Smoothie, but it's only just finished up. And could just be killed off by another, killed off by its own nuke since there's no anti-nuke over here. Atlantis soaking some shots, but also returning some as it fires into the naval units and naval factories of Grimplex. A large air battle going on over here. Looks like Icy Nightmare and Lieutenant General Fluffy gonna win that. And the nuke is going to Grimplex, so this nuke lands. Right into the air grid of Grimplex, who has arguably got the largest air force of Team 2. And this nuke gonna be coming in any second now as we wait. Stork's taking off. Some of the last units these air factories will ever build gonna be leaving relatively soon. Is the nuke somehow gonna get... Nope, there it is. And kaboom. Death to the naval, or death to the air grid. Death to the chair force, apparently. And that's going to be Grimplex severely hampered in this game. If we look at mass generation, that put Grimplex down to 20. So Grimplex officially the poorest player, along with being the most depressed 1800 rated in the world. He is the poorest player in this game, so not very much going for him at the moment. Obly sent some units over to Explosive. And looks like some a Rascom was gifted over to Banana Smoothie. Looks like there's an effort out from Obly to give everybody else UEF tech. This Novax is going to cause a lot of damage, and that's a bunch of torpedo bombers killing off the T3 Naval HQ of Grimplex. Not that he can really afford to produce out of this Naval HQ, to be honest. So, Grimplex has faltered. Grimplex has collapsed over on the eastern side. I don't even know where his comm is, but wherever it is, it needs to be praying that it doesn't die. Billy Nukes launched from the comm. Damn it, Icy. Is this Billy Nuke gonna land? Nope, it's gonna get shot. Ooh, wait, did it hit an ASF? That's very pretty. Very, very pretty. Nukes exploding midair looks so cool, by the way. Looks stupid cool in FAF. Tempest now making its way forward. It's taken a lot of damage, but over on this western side, it looks like Explosive, Obly, and Banana might be able to break through. Lieutenant General Fluffy on the eastern side, along with help from Derp, is making some inroads, but looks like Explosive's now diverting some of his forces to this eastern side to help out. Another Billy Nuke out from the comm of Icy Nightmare. It's going to land in the production, and it's going to kill off a ton of engineers. Let's see. He's going to go from 64 units killed to how many in an instant? Alright, he went from 64 units killed all the way up to 107 with one Billy Nuke. Billy Nuke's kind of underrated. It's a very good upgrade. Over here on the western side we have Atlantis trying to fight it out. The first Tempest did die, the second Tempest coming up from the rear. Laser on the way for Explosive. It is full share, so if he telesnipes and fails, it is of course just straight up going to be a loss for Team 2. He is the main naval presence for Team 2. Team 2 is having struggles coming up with a way to win this. The nuke launcher for Banana Smoothie, still not, I think he's stalling, he's not getting much done. Awasa on the way for Isma 98. We have an anti-nuke for Thurnis Haley, and I'm sure we have an anti-nuke over here. Yep, Lieutenant General Fluffy, Icy Nightmare, I would be surprised if he didn't even have one. Yep, he has one. At least at where his comm is, maybe not at his base. And a Fat Boy now on the way for Icy Nightmare. Deciding he's had enough Billy Nukage for now. Atlantis starting to get quite low on health, and Explosive, Obly, and Banana Smoothie, they need to make a breakthrough up here. If they don't, then this eastern side is just going to slowly whittle them down. They need to start getting damage done to Thurnis, Haley, Isma, and Derp, preferably. We still have a land campaign happening with Rambo comms for Obly against Derp, and it's going quite well with the assistance of battleship fire coming in every time a battleship passes. Exodus class destroyers fighting off against frigates and a battleship out from Explosive. That was a Rascom or a Rambo comm over here, getting shot at probably by a battle cruiser. That killed it. And on the western side, it seems Thurnis, Haley, and Isma have held out just long enough to force back the aggression and the push coming out from Explosive and Obly mainly. And with that, it's looking a little bit dicey for Team 2. Laser 75% done and rising. Is there a second nuke loaded yet? Almost. That could go for Banana Smoothie. He doesn't have an anti-nuke. We'll go ahead and track this just for a second. If he does launch it, then cool. While that's going on, we'll just watch the mini-map a little bit. Still a massive naval battle happening over here with lasers done. Derp might be the best option to snipe with laser. But how much does Explosive know about the other side of the map? I guess he has pretty decent intel. There's an Eye of Rain somewhere. I would guess maybe that's actually Explosive who owns it. Or no, it kind of has to be Banana Smoothie, doesn't it? Unless he gifted over an engineer, but I'm not seeing the intel building over here with explosive stuff. Huh. Really just not sure. Teleporter on the way for Grumplex. Or not for Grumplex, for Explosive. Getting teleporter without stalling. Quite impressive. Over here, Atlantis starting to push forward. Many experimentals have died over on this eastern side. Or western side, I should say. Tempest's dying. I think an Atlantis died earlier. It may have already been reclaimed. But many units fighting it out over here. Thurnis Haley trying to get an advantage, trying to start push forward along with Derp and Thurnis Haley have so many battleships right here. They outnumber the battleships on the other side quite easily. Seems like there's maybe some pathfinding issues with this choke point, but it's starting to look a little bit hopeless for Team 1 because this is about to be a straight up loss in the Navy. On the eastern side, they've already capitulated and lost. Grimplex is trying to rebuild, but that's not happening. A large gunship snipe with stingers coming out from Derp. I don't think that's going to get very much done, as there's not really much to snipe over here. He managed to get back up to T3 Navy very quickly, but he just doesn't have the economy to support it, does he? I mean, yeah, no, he just can't support this factory, even with reclaim. And it's gonna go down again. These gunships coming in, they're gonna be firing at things intermittently, but ASF gonna kill them off, so that was uneventful. Grimplex still with the fire base to end all fire bases. Come on, launch another nuke for me. Do it! Do it, you man! Launch another one! Please! Come on, Icy. Launch it! Launch it now! So my thumbnail can say Firebase Billy. Billy Nukem. Oh, he's moving. Is he moving to fire it? I would only imagine that to be why he's moving. Nope, he's getting on a transport. Never mind. Yep, this western side, as I said, it's kind of just capitulating for Team 2. There's multiple Tempests built up, but Tempests die to mass battleship pretty fucking quick. Because they're really big targets and they don't actually have a massive amount of health to tank multiple battleships. And Explosive now starting to lose some of his production. He's finishing Teleporter momentarily. Icy Nightmare finishes up another experimental. I think it's Novax. Yep, a second Novax. He has a Fat Boy making landfall over here on the eastern side. And Explosive has finished up his teleporter. So let's go ahead and watch this unfold. Strategic launch detected towards Explosive, but that's not going to be enough. I don't know where Explosive is going to teleport to. But wherever it is, has to be better than right here, right? He's very close to teleporting. Has he lost too much power to make the teleport happen is the question. He's taking a lot of damage. Is he going to be able to teleport? Oh no, he has to move. Oh, he dies before he can teleport. Sadness. Lieutenant General Fluffy with the Omen-class battleships kills him off. Or maybe it was even the Exodus destroyers, but that's the end of Explosive, and all of his base is going to die now. The nuke is insult to injury. In fact, may end up killing off more of his teammates' units than the enemies. Nope, it's going to kill literally 0 units. And with that, I'm pretty sure the game's over. It would take a miracle out from Obly to pull this one back. The Billy Nuke happening. The Billy Nukening. And Obly Control K's decides to give up. And with that, I would think that Banana probably Control K's and Grimplex, wherever the hell his comm is going to give up as well. Oh, Grimplex's comm is right here. Is that Banana Smoothie Control Kang, or is that a Razcom dying? I think that's Razcom dying. Grimplex is going to Control K relatively soon. Oh, he's going to get Billied! Billy! Billy! Oh my god, Icy gets the Billy snipe! Oh, that's beautiful. Nuclear fire! You will not stop the UAF. Oh my god, Billy. Billy Nuke, so beautiful. Where is Banana Smoothie's comm? Has to be right here, right? No, it's not? Oh, it's up here. He's just dead, right? We're gonna speed it up. He's dead. Banana Smoothie's not making this comeback. Hot damn. The victorious Navy. Billy! Oh, he's gonna fire a nuke with his last breath. He's gonna fire a nuke out. He's gonna hit the Navy! Oh, please let this nuke land. 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 Yes! Oh, my word! That's so beautiful. But no, he's just like straight up dead, right? Well, he should be, at the very least. Did the nuke get shot down? Nuke out from derp? Does he have an anti-nuke? Did he have an anti-nuke? Was I blind? Oh yeah, he does. It's right here. It's like fucking in my face. All of those power generators exploding and none of them even really hurting Banana. Banana Smoothie gonna, yeah, just die already. Slip quietly into the night. Thank you all for watching. You've been beautiful. Thank you to my patrons, Timothy Calderwood, GTVA, Icy Nightmare, Sergeant Syphilis, Nogthar, Idle Betazoid. I think that's it. And you all have been beautiful. I love you. See you in the next one. Bye-bye!